All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division, where Terence Crawford makes a statement. And I got to tell you, man, people think I'm hating on Terence Crawford in this video. I'm not. He is 100% correct. He blasts these people that are basically now calling for him. At least this is my interpretation of what he said. Calling for the fight between Errol Spence and Terence Crawford to be determined to be a no contest because of a litany of cheating accusations and film footage of what they say is Terence Crawford using illegal tactics against Errol Spence Jr. I will discuss the matter. I certainly hope Terence Crawford fans actually pay attention to what I have to say in this video and do not start crying before they know what it is that I'm saying, because I doubt that that my angle on this is going to be what some of you guys expect. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division, where the undisputed champion Terence "Bud" Crawford makes a statement on Twitter, apparently blasting some of the criticism that is coming at him, which is coming at him on a regular basis. And there's new ones now with videotape out. Infamous slow motion video of Terence Crawford, quote unquote, cheating against Errol Spence Jr. in the fight that they had July 29th. Now, before I get into the details of it, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you guys so much for your continued support. Matty, you the king all the time, brother. Thank you. Barbara D, Deborah Booker, Mr. Pragmatic, Jay Miller. Shout out to you, Jay Miller. Let's get into this, though, because, hey, man, Terence Crawford is right. Terence Crawford puts out a tweet and says, I don't know if some people just be reaching or real life don't use their brain, as he says, the brain at times. And I have to say, 100% spot on, Mr. Crawford. You are right. People reach and they don't use their brains at times. Now, I will be very quick if asked to point out when things are funny business in the sport of boxing. I have no problem doing it. Whether you like it, you don't like it, it is what it is. We can't sit around. You can't have all this selective outrage in boxing when everybody understands and knows full well there's a bunch of corruption that goes on in boxing. There's a bunch of cheating that goes on in boxing. There's cheating with gloves that goes on. There's cheating with enhancements that goes on. There's cheating with judges that go on. There's cheating with refs that go on. It's a bunch of cheating that goes on in the sport of boxing. And it's a really sad thing that the boxing is known as is most commonly called corrupt by boxing fans, boxing pundits, by the same people who themselves are corrupt, pointing at corruption on a regular basis. However, whenever it's somebody pointing at corruption that somebody or against a fighter that people either wanted to lose or wanted to win, that conversation turns into, oh, you're just making a bunch of excuses, right? So whenever it's brought to me and people talk to me about it, I look at it and I just look at the tape. I look at the circumstances and I say, okay, yeah, I think that really could be the situation. So, however, there's limitations to this. Okay, there's limitations to this. And one of the things that have been brought up by Terence Crawford, and where people says this fight with Errol Spence Jr. needs to be turned into a no contest. Man, it's no chance. I look at the tape and I think to myself, no, that is not cheating. That's not dirty fighting. That's none of the above. Terence Crawford is throwing hooks at the side of Errol Spence Jr.'s head. Errol Spence Jr. tries to roll with it. As he rolls with it, bam, that punch lands right there. Bam, that punch lands right there. However, it is Errol that is turning his head away from the shot as he sees it coming that makes the punch not land here, makes the punch land right here. Now, is it possible that Terence Crawford is throwing the punch knowing that he's going to roll and move his head and it lands there? Very well could be, but that is not Terence Crawford's problem. Terence Crawford throws the punch. If you turn your head into it, that's you hitting you. That's you exposing that part of your head. So I'm sorry, I can't go with it. Right now, that is different than people saying other things like, has Terence Crawford ever done anything that was funny? Yes, he has. He had his gloves bust and blow up in the David Avenetian fight. There's no way that you can get around that. That happened. So if somebody wants to say, hey, man, I think he plays games with his gloves, what can you really say about that? Nothing, because, it has happened before. Whether you think that was intentional or not intentional, you can't lie and say the gloves didn't blow up in the ring. They blew up in the ring and he knocked a guy out with gloves that were defective, either purposely tampered or defective. So therefore, if somebody says they suspect him of doing it again or having done it before that, what can you say? If you don't, can't do the time, don't do the crime. If you find a way not to get in there with gloves, bust it up if you don't want people to suspect you in the future. Same thing goes for Tyson Fury with his performance enhancing test that he failed for Nandrolone after the Christian Hamer fight and before the Klitschko fight, and getting in there with gloves with a detached thumb in his gloves against Christian Hamer, heading into with the fight before the Klitschko fight. Also, the gloves flopping that you can clearly see flopping all over the place, that it never flopped before Deontay Wilder won and never flopped after that. Okay, there's real cheating in boxing. However, people at this point in time, I think with Terence Crawford, are definitely reaching. Inside the ring, there's nothing that I've seen from Terence Crawford to tell him he's not a clean fighter in his technique. He's an excellent that's man, and he has the ability to beat pretty much anybody in the ring. It's what it is. He's an excellent fighter. And to say that that's a reason to overturn the Errol Spence Jr. fight, man, I can't float with that. I can't float with that at all. And if that's what Terence Crawford is responding to, he's 100% right. Like, some people are reaching? Absolutely, positively, people are reaching, man. First, it's now certain things are not reaches. Okay. The whole thing with Victor Conte, that's not a reach, because Victor Conte is what Victor Conte is. Terence Crawford decided to do business with Victor Conte. Subsequently, Terence Crawford's profile blew up. And that's what happens when your profile blows up. There's more eyes on what you're doing specifically, and more people are going to criticize you. So when people say, well, why aren't people criticizing the other people that work with Victor Conte? Why don't they criticize Devin Haney? Why don't they criticize Jaron Ennis or Demetrius Andrade? Well, let them have one of the biggest fights of the year and do something and unexpected and come out looking like the Hulk and He-Man and all that. And you'll see the same people saying the same thing about them, because that's what happens when your profile grows and you're in that situation. That's a decision Terence Crawford made. However, it is most definitely a stretch to be saying that this man is aiming shots at the back of Errol Spence Jr.'s head. Now, I know that, you can also, I'm sure he knows he's aiming for the ear somewhere around here, but it wasn't clearly like rabbit punches like Tyson Fury does when he's holding somebody and he literally starts punching them dead on the back of the head 4 or 5 times like he did to Deontay Wilder, that and to knock his equilibrium off. It was nothing like that. So I don't think he deserves that. And I'm with Terence Crawford on this one. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.